If English tenses have ever made you feel lost, overwhelmed, or even tired before you fully understand them, I want you to pause for a second and breathe. Because the truth is, English tenses are not difficult by nature. They only feel difficult because they are usually taught in isolation, without context, without meaning, and without real life logic. But English itself is not artificial, it's human. And humans experience time in very natural ways. So instead of thinking about tenses as grammar rules, try to see them as different ways of looking at time. English is constantly asking very simple questions. Is this happening now? Is it finished? Does it still matter? Is it temporary or permanent? Once you train your mind to think this way, tenses stop being something you memorize and start becoming something you feel. Now let's get started. Everything begins in the present. When English wants to describe things that feel stable, repeated, or generally true, it uses the present simple. This tense creates a feeling of identity. When you say, I live in the city, or I work as a teacher, you're not talking about today or this week. You are talking about who you are. The present simple defines reality. It's also the tense of habits. I wake up early, I drink coffee every morning, I read before I sleep. These actions form patterns, and English uses the present simple to show that pattern. But life is not only patterns. Life is also movement, change, temporary situations. And this is where the present continuous comes in. When you say, I am working on a new project, or I am learning English these days, you are saying, this is happening now, but it may not always be true. The present continuous gives us a sense of motion. It tells us that the situation is alive, not fixed. Now here's something very important. Sometimes learners ask, which tense is correct? But English does not think like that. Often, more than one tense can be correct depending on meaning. For example, I live with my parents feels permanent. I'm living with my parents feels temporary. Same situation, different feeling. English chooses meaning, not rules. Now let's move to the present perfect, a tense that many learners fear but shouldn't. The present perfect exists because English wants to talk about the past without locking it there. When you say, I've learned a lot from this experience, you're saying that the past action still affects you now. The exact time is not important, the result is. This tense is very common in real conversations. I've finished my work. I've already eaten. I've never tried sushi. Notice something important here. In all these sentences, the past action changes the present situation. Finished work means free time now. Already eaten means not hungry now. Never tried sushi means a life experience is missing. And when English wants to emphasize effort and duration instead of result, it uses the present perfect continuous. I've been studying all day. I've been waiting for you. I've been thinking about this. These sentences are emotional. They carry feelings. Time becomes visible. You can almost feel the tiredness, the patience, or the frustration. Now let's step back into the past where events are finished and closed. When English talks about a specific moment that is over, it uses the past simple. I watched that movie last night. I met him 2 years ago. I started learning English in high school. The time is clear. The action is complete. The past simple is direct and honest. But sometimes English wants to describe what was happening around the moment. That's when the past continuous appears. I was studying when the phone rang. One action creates the background. The other interrupts it. This tense is great for storytelling. It slows the moment down and makes it visual. Now let's organize the past even more clearly. When two actions happened in the past, English sometimes needs to show which one came first. That's where the past perfect comes in. I had finished my homework before I went out. Without the past perfect, the order might feel confusing. With it, everything becomes clear. And when English wants to show how long something had been happening before another past event, it uses the past perfect continuous. I had been working for hours before I took a break. This tense adds depth. It shows effort, it shows exhaustion. Time becomes meaningful. Now let's talk about the future, which is full of imagination, plans, and possibilities. When English makes a decision at the moment of speaking, it uses will. I'm thirsty, I'll get some water. It feels spontaneous, natural, immediate. But when the decision exists before the conversation, English prefers going to. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to learn English seriously this year. These sentences carry intention. English also loves using the present for the future. When something is fixed, scheduled, or part of a timetable, English uses the present simple. The class starts at 8, and when the plan is personal and arranged, English uses the present continuous. I'm meeting my friend tomorrow. The future feels close and real. With the future continuous, English places you inside a future moment. This time tomorrow, I'll be working. Next week at this hour, I'll be flying. You are not just talking about the future. You are living inside it. And when English looks forward and sees something already completed, it uses the future perfect. By the end of this course, you will have learned all English tenses. The future perfect gives satisfaction before the moment arrives. And once again, if duration matters, the future perfect continuous appears. By next year, I will have been studying English for 5 years. Time, effort, and commitment all come together. Conditionals are simply another way English connects time and reality. If you heat water, it boils. That's a fact. If I study tonight, I will improve. That's a real possibility. If I had more time, I would travel. That's imagination. And lastly, if I had studied more, I would have passed. That's regret. Same logic, different realities. And passive voice does not change time at all. It only changes focus. They built the house, and the house was built, exist in the same time. English just decides what is more important. So when you finally step back and look at English tenses as one connected system, everything becomes lighter. You stop memorizing, you start understanding, and once you understand, you begin to use tenses naturally without fear. That's how you truly learn all English tenses in one video. Not by force, not by logic, feeling, and meaning. Remember this. English tenses are not something you need to memorize perfectly. They are simply tools to help you talk about time. Don't ask yourself, which tense is this? Ask, is this happening now, in the past, or in the future? Fluency doesn't come from knowing every rule. It comes from using simple sentences confidently and consistently. So take what you learned today, say the examples out loud, and make them about your own life. That's how English becomes natural. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.